Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this special report. Again, another Siege of Ottawa Freedom Convoy report with our friend Janine. You can find her at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Jean-Claude. Hi, everybody.
How's it going, Janine?
Good. Relaxing day today.
We'll get into that in a second. And folks, please also welcome Julie from Maison Jupiter here on YouTube and also on her website at maisonjupiter.com. Julie, welcome back to this special report.
Hello, JC. Hello, Janine. Happy to be here with you.
Julie, it's been a long time.
Yeah. Just this afternoon, yeah.
Right, and guys, if you haven't seen that, go check out the interview with Indigo Angel, Julie, and myself. We were decoding the 144,000 in the Revelation. Fabulous episode, like really fast-paced, lots of information. You might have to watch that twice. So go check that out. Really good episode. Thank you so much, Julie, for partaking in that one. It was an amazing collaboration with you and Indigo Angel. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here tonight on this live interactive show. We have a lot to go through. Hopefully we could do that in the 1 hour stream here. So many things to go through, but before that, just a little bit of housekeeping. Let me just bring this one up here. This is the pyramid for grabs tonight on the PayPal tip jar from the amazing Carla at ascensionorganites.com. And Carla is also mentioning that the winner from last week, Christine Harvey, has not yet responded to her email. So Christine, if you're watching tonight, I believe you're in Quebec, please check your spam folder. And if you don't have an email from either Carla or myself, email me directly so that we can send you last week's pyramid. Now let's pay attention here to what Carla has to say for this pyramid named Haley.
Ascension Organites, and today I have to show you the beautiful Haley. So Haley was originally a custom order inspired by Iris, our other purple piece. So I think of Haley as Iris's bigger sister. She's made of amethyst crystals and aluminum metals. So amethyst is a great stone for protection, healing, to help with sleep, anxiety, depression, anything like that. I actually have a Haley in my room, and I've noticed that I'm sleeping way better with her next to me. So she would be great to place in the bedroom. I'll give her a quick turnaround. She also has the flower life symbol in silver. And there she is. I hope you like her. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much, Carla. I appreciate that. And these are absolutely my colors. I absolutely love this too.
I love that one too. Yeah.
I think
I'll wrestle you for it.
Okay. And folks, if you want to put your hands on one of these amazing creations, of course, BeyondMystic is the coupon code. It'll save you 10%. And you're looking for ascensionorganites.com. And the links are in the description box below. You can also find her still on Etsy, but there I believe the shop is now closed and redirecting to her new website. So a big thank you to every one of you who are supporting us in the PayPal tip jar. You guys make it possible for us to be out here today. I wanted to bring up this first news article. This was from last week. And you remember how originally all the pollsters were saying that we were the fringe minority. And finally here it was the Toronto Sun last week that said, well, actually, in fact, it's 54% of Canadians who agree with removing all of the restrictions. Well, today, it's up to 64%. So just a week later, it keeps rising. So again, if you think you're part of a fringe minority because the mainstream media is telling you, you should look at the facts. So just wanted to bring that up, how these numbers keep creeping on them and making it more and more difficult for these pollsters to do what they do. I'll just say it that way. Okay, this is very interesting here. Julie, this pertains to one of the predictions that you made in your astrology. This is when we were looking at both the Confederation, I believe, or the birth of Canada, and also JT's personal birth chart. You had it in there somewhere that at some time very soon in the future here, you can go back to your slides here in a second, but that we would see revelations of where his money is coming from and how perhaps he's tied in to some of these injectable products, defining at the very least here at least a perceived conflict of interest for now, and perhaps an actual conflict of interest if this continues to move forward and we get more details on that. Can you remind the audience here of that astrological alignment that suggested that perhaps all of these secrets revealed here with respect to his money would come to light?
Yeah, so I had on February 19, I had the Mercury opposition. So Mercury in the sky opposite Canada's Mercury. So it's a lot about communication, truths coming out, and also on the same day I checked the Canadian Mr. T, and Mercury was also conjunct in his natal Venus and North Node in his 6th house, meaning that we were probably going to get some news about how he made his money, because Venus is linked to money. So Venus and North Node in his natal chart shows where he acquired his money. 6th house is the house of health, and also Aquarius is the sign of networks. So I said we're probably going to have some news about the deals he made with the pharmaceutical companies using this health crisis to add to his portfolio, let's say. So, and I said that around February 19, but maybe on the 19th it's going to get more into the mainstream. So, because we're talking here about Mercury.
Right. Well, let's ask Janine here, pull some cards to see if we are going to continue pulling at these threads. Here in this particular video, they're opining that the family's foundation is holding about 40% of Taoist, which is the manufacturer here of the mechanic lipids used in Pfizer and one of those products. Dr. Malone was saying that, of course, there appears to be a very major financial conflict of interest here. So is this coming up faster and faster? Janine, wow, big guess. Oh, hold on, Janine. Hold on. For some reason, you're on mute. Say that again, Janine.
More and more coming out. This is like literally a landslide of information, and that's an ace, which is getting and more clarified. So it's not going to be disputable or rumors. It's going to be like, this is real.
Mm.
And I understand there's some lawsuits already happening in the works. Several lawsuits going on. Yeah. So it's stuff that's been hidden for years and years. Like it's been held up and hidden, and they've been trying to, get around it. But this stuff's been lingering around. It's not just that, what you said, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, like, because also it's in the sign, is Venus and North Node is in the sign of Aquarius in his 6th house. So it talks about using networks, those types of networks, people network. Also making money on war, because 6th house is the traditional house of war. So it's I think it's going to be a lot more than just health and pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was in the background, and this is like an accumulation from a whole group of people, maybe. So it could have something to do with, apparently there's somebody trying to take him to court for a really long time, and I shared it all over. I just can't remember the guy's name. But he is a big part of the convoy, sort of the beginnings of the convoy. But he says he's had something on the go because Trudeau or his government took a whole bunch of money.
Pension fund money. Yeah, I forget the guy's
funds, from civil servants. And he's a fireman.
Right.
And he said, they stole our pensions and tried to just brush it off. And they're going after them. It's sitting there ready to go. But the whole pandemic stopped it. But he says that we're going ahead with it now.
Right. Okay. And Julie, you had mentioned also in one of those previous readings, it wasn't just the secrets about his money, but there was also something about sexuality. Yeah. Now, in the last 2 days, we've reported, of course, that Prince Andrew has made a deal with the accuser for untold sums of money in order to extricate himself from this lawsuit or this persecution. Now, is it possible also, can you first of all remind the audience here what you meant by this exposure perhaps of some sexual proclivities or maybe past experiences that could haunt him again?
Okay, so I think we got a couple alignments here. I think I spoke a lot about Mercury, Pluto, so truths coming out, and during the month of February, there's a lot of Plutonic energies, and Pluto is the planet linked to everything that's been hidden before, and it's also linked to sexual secrets. And so February is a big month for that. Also, we have the US Pluto return that's going to be exact in a few days. And Pluto, so it's going to shine a light on all that's been hidden before. So sexual secrets, sexual networks, financial secrets, linked to those sexual networks. So it's exposing everything. So US Pluto return, yes, it's a financial alignment because Pluto is also linked to money, but everything is intricated here. So money, the networks, the sexual secrets, it's all Pluto themes. So it's coming into the light big time.
Right. So I dug this up. This was a newspaper article just before the last election. And within a day or two, all the mainstream media in Canada stopped talking about it like it never existed. Although here we had a West Point Grey Academy student making these accusations. And suddenly, after being paid millions of dollars here, the state-owned media stopped reporting on this or even investigating on this. Now, I'm curious, Janine, is it possible that through the deal that's been made here with the prosecution for Prince Andrew, that perhaps that deal is also made to save perhaps information that could be tied back to Mr. JT here?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know how much they paid out that woman for Prince Andrew's little episode?
I didn't see it. It said undisclosed, but if you guys in the chat have a link to the exact amount, if it's come out since, please do let us know in the chat.
I didn't see the amount either.
Okay.
Yeah,
Janine?
so I think you got a point there. We got 3, so this could be like sensual pleasures and, partying and stuff. And then an ace. So somehow they link together with that ace. Somehow they link. And then we've got this 7. So the 7 of swords in the middle. So some kind of strategy there overall for elites in general. Okay. But when we looked at this earlier this week, it did look like they were going to get them with the tribunals. So it's just meant to, I think, shock you into going, wow, these elites are getting away with it again. That's the whole idea of these kind of things. That's what I think anyway.
Well, let me bring this up because it's funny. You asked the audience the question: 7 million, 12 million, 20 million, 30 million, 10 million.
Yeah.
So, okay. I haven't seen the actual number in any.
Okay, I get 30 million.
Oh, wow.
I got 30 million in my head really loud, and I just pulled a 3 again. Yeah, I'm thinking 30 million. She wouldn't go for 3 million, so it's got to be 30.
You would think at this point, it's a lifetime. Exactly. Okay. And
also, I forgot to say, today we're the 16th, so we're having this full moon. And full moon always shines a light on secrets, right? So full moon in the sign of Leo, the sign of leadership, the sign of kingship, the sign of royalty. So it's like shining a light on secrets of the rulership, and we're having this grand fixed cross during this full moon, meaning that the sun, the moon are opposing each other and they're squaring the lunar nodes. So it's big karmic energy in the collective, breaking free from old structures because we're in fixed signs. So full moon always shines a light. So I'm not surprised we're having more truths coming out in the open today.
More truths. And talking about karma and justice here, I reposted this earlier today. I forget from who it was on Zero Hedge, but this was a photograph of the hangings at Nuremberg in Germany. So here, members of the media who lied and misled the German people were executed, right along with medical doctors, nurses who participated in medical experiments using living people as guinea pigs, etc., etc. And my point of that was, well, let's remember these are facts that actually had happened, and what led to this, and what came out of this. Of course, the Nuremberg Code, the rights and freedoms here in Canada, all of these things here that we now seem to take for granted. So I want to ask you, Janine, for the people who might be seeing this for the first time, is this also coming now to Canada as we continue to push and push and push against all civil liberties here with this latest power grab of the Emergencies Act?
we've got that 8. So the Emergency Act, I think, is going to get stepped away from. I think the people are going to win. So we've got the people winning. But they're not, I wouldn't say it was a sure bet that you're going to see public hangings. I don't think that card tells me that'll be on hold. Okay, so they won't go all the way there. And maybe could already be going on undercover. Right? Tribunal, yeah. Secret tribunal. Okay, or it would be done in more under the cover of, like, so they might film their confessions, or I don't think it's going to be as brutal as what we just saw in that picture. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And if they are happening undercover now, my gut feeling was always that at some point this would be revealed to the public also, because there's no point of doing this in secrecy. People have to know what happened and who paid the price ultimately for all of this.
You bet. And especially people that messed with our little ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's pretty bright. So
yeah, no, that works now. Yeah,
that's the young person card.
Right.
So that in particular is going to be really highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
So when that comes out, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. That's when you think about that party substance consumption and all of that so many people haven't even a clue about that stuff.
Right. Okay. Cliff High was in the chat a little bit earlier. He tweeted this or texted this. Financial reset is happening now. It's not a single day event. Mm-hmm. It has a long process until the very last day when it's all of a sudden whammo. So that reminds me of the le dicton en français. How did you go bankrupt? Well, slowly at first and then all of a sudden. So interestingly enough, this shot across the bow here with this power grab is also showing Canadians that perhaps their money is not safe in the bank, that if for some reason they don't agree with their government can seize their assets. They've been very clear on how absolutely overreaching this new policy, temporary as it may be, is towards Canadians here, regular Canadians who are not committing any crimes other than supporting peaceful demonstration and asking for their rights to be upheld. So imagine that. That being said, today, this is interesting. This was the first article I saw today saying that 5 major banks here in Canada were reporting to be offline after, of course, the Trudeau emergency order to freeze Freedom Convoy's accounts. Now, okay, I didn't see that in any, I want to say mainstream media here, or even in banking websites. So I was curious to see if there was more. So I went to outages.com, and in fact, there was a lot of people reporting that their bank accounts were either frozen or they were having issues at the ATMs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, that for now seems to have been resolved, but I want to ask the cards, what the hell was happening today for all of these banks to report offline issues during this afternoon? What was going on? What can the cards tell us? And I know for you, Julie, also in terms of astrology, you're seeing stuff that's coming up that maybe has internet blackout or banking's blackout. So I'll get to you here in a second. Janine first on the cards. Ben the Rock says, yeah, bank run. Potentially.
Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't look like it has to do with what Trudeau's doing per se. I mean, it might, but it could also have something to do with people's confidence in the dollar and the money system.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if, and also changes going on, because ACEs are like rebirths or rebooting. So maybe some of those banks were up to some changes. They were making some changes, getting ready for something. And these two cards, yeah, so it's definitely not about like per se what happened with Trudeau announcing that thing. It doesn't look like it's about that. It feels like it's something eventually that could turn out to be positive for us.
Mm-hmm.
So future situation coming our way that's going to give us more ability with the way we handle money and not less.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like
go ahead, Janine. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Feels like a good thing. Let's just
Okay.
say.
What's interesting here, Minister Freeland was saying, hey, we need to follow the money. And of course, it's very over the top for them to say that when they did not follow the money that went to the We Charity scandal that we were both covering last year. But I digress. Nevertheless, though, the shot across the bow was also to the fundraising. So twice now, the federal government, the provincial, in collusion with corporation and the municipalities, have stolen $10 million from this protest. First on GoFundMe, and then on Give Send Go, which prompted now the truckers to move to Tallycoin. But now Tallycoin is now subject to the legislation in this new power grab here, in that they have to report to FinTrack here any suspicious activities that might be related to the Anti-Terrorism and Laundering Act. So that's very interesting. So maybe that in and of itself is gaining momentum in the regular minds of Canadians to say, hey, my money's not safe in this area and something's happening here. And people are thinking, maybe I should put some money underneath the mattress here, as people tend to do just before a cataclysmic event or before a war comes to your shore. So Julie, let's talk about these blackouts, these outages. What do you see in the astrology here that can support maybe why Canadians seem to be weary of the banking system?
Yeah, well, first, before going into that aspect, I remember saying when I was talking about this full moon today, making this grand cross with the financial axis, with the nodes that just moved in the Taurus Scorpio axis, which is the financial axis. I remember saying there was going to be a huge pressure on the financial market because of the people, because the moon in Leo symbolizes the people gaining back their power. And also we've got the sun in Aquarius, which means decentralize the power. So I didn't know how it was going to happen, but at the same time, Trudeau's speech was very informative to me, because I feel like people, as you said, JC, lost confidence in the banks, and lots of people are thinking about getting their money out. So this is where I think the pressure is, the huge pressure on the financial axis is coming from. Is that this need to be your own bank, or take out the middleman between you and your money.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, first of all, and second element of response, I saw in the astrology there's going to be on March 2nd a new moon in Pisces, and at the same time, Mercury is going to conjunct the planet Saturn. So Mercury talks about social media, it talks about communication, and they're going to be conjunct with Saturn. Saturn means regulations, sometimes a lack of communication, lack of social media. So there's a possible blackout of social media around that date, so around March 2nd, around the beginning of March. So maybe social media, internet, because also it's going to be in the sign of Aquarius, which is the sign of social media and internet. So
okay. Janine, you and I have been talking and forecasting about these intermittent blackouts and outages for a while. Given what Julie's just said here for the beginning of March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, maybe in that window, can you pull some cards to see if that lines up also as a possibility here for some either payment outages or banking system outages or internet, to say the least? Now, while you do that, also, I'd like to remind the audience, if you're looking at getting into crypto and understanding how you can protect your hard-earned assets, please do check out this course here, Beyond Crypto, Panic to Own, Crash Course here with Jean-Claude and Jason at 4. You can find that on beyondmystic.net/pay-per-view. Janine.
It does look like some people are going to experience like where this card doesn't get enough of something, or feels left out of something, or is overlooked in something, feeling the lack of something. Okay. And then intermittent, though, with the Wheel of Fortune. So rolling, I'm going to say. So not all at once, all in one area, days and days. I feel like intermittent. So that's interesting. And then this card and this card showed up, which is really weird. So again, I'm feeling like something's going on in the background. This is part of the movie. Right. Interesting. And they must they're following, I think, some astrological things, because I feel like the part of the movie here, it's part of us getting free, because this is our freedom card. And this card here is the Magician. So I wonder if it'll be connected with a new form of internet, or the beginning of a new way of receiving internet.
Well, there's Truth Media here, or the Trump Media Initiative also coming up in the field, and maybe we can talk about that next week and develop that context a little bit more. So, folks, there's a couple of things you can watch here for. The Astro Woo Finance here for the month of February is on sale now. Save 33 is the coupon code. Of course, the crypto courses are there, and both Julie, Janine, and myself are going to be producing here the next Beyond Crypto Woo here, probably this weekend or in the next couple of days, and same thing here with the Astro Woo. So if you want to stay tuned with all that, please do go check it out on our pay-per-view page. Now, we just talked about the banking system having some issues today and people losing confidence in their banks. What does that have to say? So we're talking about money there in crypto, but what does that have to say for silver? A lot of people are asking in the chat, and I saw a lot of the silver Reddit groups also saying, hey, this is the best thing. Whatever Trudeau is doing now is the best thing for physical gold and silver. Again, held in your own possession so that you don't have to deal with all of these shenanigans. Can you pull into the cards here and see how perhaps silver and gold might react here, seeing as some people are losing confidence in the banking system? How do we add that all up together?
Interesting you said that, because my mind went to a person could, instead of putting a bunch of actual paper money under their mattress or whatever, they could go buy metals. Like, yeah, it's dead. And yeah, I don't know. I think it'll happen, but yeah, let's have a look. So,
that's another thing, because when you consider inflation, holding paper underneath your mattress when it's being hyperinflated away is not, it's probably better than holding it in the bag, but it's still probably not the best approach to hedging this inflation. So go ahead, Janine, with the cards on silver.
Interesting. So in the past, we've got the 5 of Cups, which is disappointment because it hasn't happened already. Yeah, it's taking longer than we want it. The spirit world says they're keeping a close eye on silver. So isn't that weird? So we've got spirit energy knows some secrets about silver and also is aware. And these off-worlder wise ones or humans, our future selves, are aware of the secrets being kept around. So silver's been repressed and kept a big secret for a really long time. Like, we know that, right? Okay, but it's really been coming out lately. Like shows like Jean-Claude, what you've been doing for, I feel like you've been doing this for a couple of years at least that I know of. Yeah, maybe years and years. So that's, you've been. It's been coming out lately, so that the gig's up on people trying to keep it a secret, right? They've been trying to keep it all to themselves. So it's been undervalued, and it's going to, that's all going to switch. So we got that Wheel of Fortune. So doing a big flip. So it goes from being undervalued and repressed to coming out in the open and going up.
Wow, that's fascinating.
We've been getting that for a while.
Yeah, a bunch of people are saying, yeah, take your cash and buy silver. Alaskan Dan and Ocean Odell, yeah. It felt so safe putting my money into silver. Yeah, holding it in your own possession. Guys, if you want to have that feeling of holding physical silver and gold in your possession, you can do so here with the Beyond Mystic audience discounts here offered by Miles Franklin. You can find that at beyondmystic.net /silver. And for the Canadian audience, you can find that at mfbullion.ca. And here we have the Krugerrands again on sale this week at $569 over spot Canadian. This is the other affiliate program here for the Canadian audience. So a big thank you to you guys who are going through these forums and sending me emails telling me how they absolutely love the service at Beyond Mystic. I really appreciate that. And I do choose my affiliate programs very carefully. And as you know, if you've seen Andy on my show before, he is really a stand-up guy, and he's really there to help you with a big order or a small order. Whatever your needs are, they will be there for you, both of them on either side of the border there. Okay, so a big thank you to all of you on that. Let's get into this one. This one really got under my skin, Janine. I don't know if you've seen this video. The PM here is basically saying either you stand with me and my emergency orders, or you're standing with the swastika flag holders, etc., etc. And of course, he was saying this to a Jewish conservative MP, Melissa Landsman, in the House. Let me play the clip just so I know if I just said that, you would say, no, JC, that can't be. Let's just listen to the Premier, the Prime Minister himself here. Oh, hold on a second.
Isn't a naive dream. It could be a powerful force for change. If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same prime minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the prime minister lose his way? When did it happen?
You're right, Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who deserve to be able to get to their jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
Hold on. So even the Speaker of the House here had to stand up and say, okay, wait, guys, please, I'll instruct the members here not to use inflammatory language on both sides of the House. So he was also speaking to Mr. Trudeau there. Janine, your first reaction to this is
absolutely surreal. Goodness. Okay, so it came out. Some guy, I shared this video, said he was on ground zero there when that one swastika flag was being flown around. And he said the guy was going around saying, he literally was saying, this is the flag that Trudeau is basically flying over Canada. He's the Nazi, okay? That's what the guy was saying. So it was foolish of whoever that was to do that. And of course, they're using that one flag, not the millions of Canadian flags everybody was flying and American flags and whatever else, all the love flags. They were just using the one, like it could have been even a plant, but the guy was actually calling Trudeau whatever was on that flag.
Right. And again, this is the mainstream media turning everything around. So they're talking about hate crimes when the truckers are actually giving food to the homeless, where the truckers are actually cleaning the streets, but yet it's called intimidation. Oh my God. Love is war, or peace is war. Oh, love is hate. This is what the mainstream media is all about here today. Okay. Julie, any reactions or any tarot on that note? Can I just move on from this?
And move on. It just reminded me of the image you posted on your Twitter, with like the journalists all focused on a couple flags that were planted there while the other people are in harmony and love in the background. So it's kind of the same thing.
Right. And so for those of you who haven't seen that, it's pinned to the top of my Twitter account. Go check it out. And of course, if you click on that link there, it goes to the direct time spot of this woman I interviewed who talked about the love frequency on Parliament Hill. So if you haven't heard it, I recommend you do go check it out. And also, if you haven't done so already, please do go and subscribe to my BeyondMystic Telegram channel. I seem to be losing a lot of tweets as of late. So if you want to stay in on everything I'm posted, probably safer to do so here. Let me bring that link down. It's t.me/beyond_mystic. And you can also find Janine there at, it's Tarot by Janine, right? Janine on Telegram as well? Okay. Very good. Let's move to the next. Okay. So this morning I was kind of pissed off again because in the mainstream news, we saw the conservative talking points for the day were really about the 5.1 inflation rate. And I'm like, yes, that is a problem. We have been talking about that for quite some time, but I think there's more pressing issues here today to the fellow caucus here in the Conservative Party of Canada. So I put out this tweet asking them, hey, will you guys, either the caucus or the senators, introduce a motion to vote or to revoke or to amend this Emergencies Act? And I was tweeting directly to Pierre Poilievre, Candace Bergen, and Senator Wallin. So far, they haven't responded to me directly, so I can still hold my breath on that. Having said that, though, Candace Bergen did come out this afternoon, and we have a presser from them saying, and this is CTV News reporting, that, of course, the Conservatives won't be supporting the Emergencies Act as the MPs await a motion. Now, I'm not sure why they're not introducing their own, or why the Senate even is not introducing their own, but remains to be seen here. And this is why you and I, Janine, were saying last week or the week before, same as the old boss, or me, the new boss, same as the old boss. Are they actually going to do everything in their power to revoke this, or is this, again, just controlled opposition? Let's ask the cards here. Do the Conservatives and the other opposition leaders, including also the Senate, have the wherewithal here to stand up to Mr. Trudeau?
smarty.
I thought I'd slip that one in. I'm sorry.
I got in.
Okay.
So to a certain degree, but they're going to stay really safe. To a certain degree, but they're going to stay safe. Yeah. There's a safety with that. Right. They're staying in a safe place and looking out from their little safe world, not getting right down out of their castle there.
Right.
Okay. So there's safety. And then another two, which is, so they're not going to, no, I wouldn't say they're doing everything. They're sitting on the fence until they feel safe. Right. Like, so that's hugely lame in my humble opinion. Okay, nobody's getting really passionate. Like, for instance, what Ricardo Boise's been saying. That's why I love that guy so much. He's telling it like it actually is.
Yeah.
He's literally just laying it out there. So, so far, you know, he's the only one I've heard in the whole world practically who's a politician that's actually literally saying everything that's really true. Yeah. Okay, so we've got temperance in the middle. Yeah, they're staying temperance. So temperance is like go in the middle ground till they know what safely will, I don't know, keep paying.
So a fake pretend type of opposition.
Yeah.
Just like asking for the mask mandates to be removed while wearing your mask in the House of Commons.
Yeah, like
that type of initiative. Yeah. Okay, so we understand. Susan is saying, thanks, GC. Humor at this time is appreciated. You know, some truths are hidden in humor. Just leave it at that. I appreciate that, Susan. Okay, next news item. This one is interesting here. Again, so Julie set up this idea of the escalation and these grand tension again. This is another hit that you had over a couple of weeks ago here where we were talking about the full moon and the Grand Cross, I believe it was, for today. And it sets up this news article here where, again, now we're seeing the cops issuing warnings, and I'll bring the poster here in a second. But remind the audience here of that prediction you made and how the astrology was tying into more tension on this day, February 16.
Yeah, so full moon, it means the moon opposes the sun, and the moon in mundane astrology is the people and the sign of Leo rulership. So the people are in position of power, while the sun, so we're shedding a light on the sun. It's also the authority in the sign of Aquarius, in the sign of people. So it's like, for me, it was a big reversal of power, the people gaining back their personal power, but also this big opposition and this big tension with the Grand Cross in between, like the people, this escalation of energy, of tension. A Grand Cross is always very, very tense. But I feel like it's going to provoke some more conclusions with this, the Freedom Convoy that we're probably going to see on the 19th, because I have this date highlighted still, the February 19, we have this Mercury opposition. So I feel like there's going to be either an opposition from the other parties. They're going to oppose the Emergency Act, or maybe the people are going to push for that. But there is going to be something on the 19th for sure.
Okay, something on the 19th. So is that Friday or Saturday? What do I got?
It's a Saturday.
It's going to be Saturday. Oh, wow. Fascinating. Okay. I believe I will be in Ottawa on Saturday. So maybe we can do a show together and bring that up to speed for the audience. But let me bring back this tweet here from Viva. And yet police have started handing out notices in virtue of the invocation of the Emergencies Act. Yes, desperation. So this is the cops here asking people to basically telling them that they're now infringing upon this act. They're basically committing a crime, and that they should vacate the premises before they are forcefully vacated. Words to that effect. So you can go see this out. This is purportedly the flyer that their cops were putting out today. Now, on top of that, I've been getting reports all day, conflicting. So this is fog of war, folks. So bear with me here. Reports from some individuals who are saying that the cops were getting ready to perhaps implement a raid tonight. And then 15 minutes later, I got another report saying, oh, no, the cops are just smiling and saying hello to everyone on the streets, and they're being very nice to everyone, and there's nothing happening. And just 10 minutes ago here, I'm hearing about a large bus being loaded with troops here, maybe about to do something on Parliament Hill. And now what they're going to do, there's a debate there. Are they going to be forcefully removing people, or perhaps start first by maybe seizing property, maybe putting those ankle boots or those tire boots on cars so that they can't move, put liens on property. Let's pull in some cards here and see if tonight, again, Janine, we've been forecasting this for the last 2 weeks, that we would see some half measures and some fake kind of aggression, only to see the cops turn back and basically do a photo op. So is that what we're going to see tonight, or are we now finally going to see action from our police or combined police forces here in Ottawa?
So I watched a video and I shared it of I think it's one of the main lawyers for the group, the trucker group. And I've seen several videos with him speaking up for them. And he went through that letter and he said the letter, if you really read between the lines and the legal, like, how they legally write these things. Yeah. He said what these guys are saying is if you came here to do illegal things and you want to disrupt, we'll do those things to you. But if you're peacefully protesting, it basically is null and void if they're actually not breaking any of the laws.
Right. And that's why Trudeau and his ilk keep repeating, oh, you're breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, or it's illegal. Well, what's illegal exactly? We do have a judge that ordered the police to give back the gas cans under the Geneva Convention of Protected Persons Act. So that's very interesting. You see that because it's the same thing where yesterday when they put out this act, was it the governor, not the governor general, but the attorney general was saying that they believed that they had met all the requirements to put in place this act. So again, the wording there is very, very soft. So too is on this police notice. Having said that, is it possible also that the cops are intending on actually doing something physical here tonight?
So some of them are. So I think you got it right. Some of them are looking at that. There could even be a band of them that are for sort of that kind of action. And a whole lot of them are really disappointed in the whole idea of it. So you got a split force here. You got some of them, and some of them are going to walk away. Okay. So the idea is in particular to drum up fear. And they're kind of hoping everybody just packs up. Mm-hmm. That's actually why they're putting out all of this stuff. And the outcome is independence and freedom. That does not look like a bunch of people getting their kids taken away. And so what prevails is integrity and truth. Mm-hmm. That's the second or third time I've got that. So I think there might be a few undercover sneaky things done. Mm-hmm. They could even be done. So in the cover of night, absolutely. They could take more of their stuff or do weird things or pick up a few people. So
plant some weapons and some bombs, perhaps.
Maybe do some planting. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, manifesting. Okay. But this card here is the overview. And if the truckers are just patient and keep an eye on things and keep an eye on their stuff and good cameras on, like I hope they got like some GoPros set up overnight and stuff like that. They'll even catch a lot of this, like what they're doing. So I don't really see the violence coming. I mean, I hope I'm right. I don't want to see it, but I don't see it in the cards either.
Well, again, for the people who might be watching this and say, "Oh, that's a stretch, JC. The Alberta thing, the guns. You're stretching it, JC." Well, just remember this one. Reminder that Officer Robert Sampson was caught and arrested in 1974 for orchestrating a bombing on behalf of the Canadian government on its own soil in order to justify the escalation action against the FLQ. And again, then we'll talk about the War Measures Act with Pierre-Elliott Trudeau, the father. So again, just recounting history here for the audience members. Julie, anything to add on that, on maybe this tension here tonight, how maybe the tension is also within the police forces itself? We're still hearing that 30% of the cops had resigned in Ottawa. We've received notice also that a lot of those cops who were calling in with COVID have been now replaced. So there's a movement within the effective forces, but is there still an opposition within the force to execute any of these mandates? What would you say the alignments are for today, and how does that relate into reality?
Well, for sure, one of the feelings I got when I looked at this full moon is that lots of people from the police force we're gonna join the people, because this full moon is like a big energy back to the people. And also it's in the sign of Leo. The Leo is the lion energy, it's the heart energy, it's the courage to hold the line. So I knew they were not moving on that full moon. I knew the truckers were gonna still hold the line and be there. And also I feel like every day there's many more police forces that are joining the movement by stepping back or helping the movement.
Okay, very good. Let's move into this one here too. Janine, did you see this video here by Tucker Carlson? Again, talking about how Canada just basically canceled democracy, and that no one noticed. None of the media pundits in the United States seems to care that this is happening across the border, their biggest ally, their neighbor, etc., etc. Fabulous video, guys. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to play it here. It's a long video. But what was your reaction to that? And do you think, as a result of this happening and the media ignoring it, does that also propel, similarly to the Canadians being weary of their banking systems, Canadians or Americans now also being very weary of the remaining vestiges of the mainstream media?
I think it alerted a lot more people. So even if the mainstream media, I don't know who's still watching the mainstream media. I guess, unfortunately, my family members, a lot of them. But yeah, and some old friends of mine. But I'm telling you, like there was a huge crowd of people outside. I posted several videos of it. I just wanted to make it go viral, so I was doing my part. They were outside of the, I guess it was, what is that? The Canadian Embassy in New York.
Oh, in New York, yeah.
Oh yeah, that is fun.
Wasn't that wonderful?
That was great.
New Yorkers, yeah, they were on behalf or for Canadians. They were yelling at Trudeau and telling him to release the Canadians, free the Canadians. And here they've been really locked down. So you could argue that they were putting themselves last and trying to be helpful to the Canadians. I thought that was spiritually a huge revelation and shift, and beautiful for mankind. I thought it was a huge sign from the universe. Universe is stepping in and waking people up en masse. And who cares what the mainstream media says, because people aren't even listening to them anymore.
Right. Wow. I care, JC. So thank you for you and Janine and Julie to keep us informed. Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. I also tweeted this earlier this morning. All tyrannies rule through fraud and force. And when the fraud is exposed, they must rely exclusively on force. This, of course, a quote from George Orwell. And here in my tweet, I was saying, hey, this is a call to all citizen journalists. Everyone watching the show, you are a citizen journalist. You have a Twitter account, a Facebook account, an Instagram account, etc., etc. It is incumbent upon you also to uncover all of the fraud and to overwhelm our mainstream media liars and collaborators and state-funded organizations. This is how we are, in fact, winning this war. And in response to that, Mr. Cliff High said, JC for MP. Okay, so there's two questions in there for me. He says, in the new Canada reconstituted General Assembly, and of course he's saying, oh, that's gonna wrinkle his noodle here a little bit, yes. And somebody was saying, oh, does that mean that Janine is going to be the VP? So I thought that was interesting. But the first part here, Cliff is suggesting, and perhaps this is coming from some older WebBot data or maybe some recent ones here too, that he's seeing a newly constituted or reconstituted General Assembly. And in our email in the last couple of days, he was talking about New Canada, and I won't get into the details of that too. So let's ask the cards. Are we forecasting here the fall of the government as we see it now and a reconstitution of our governing bodies for and on behalf of Canadians? Is this truly around the corner here for Canada? Wow.
You can't make that up. That's the first card. I haven't even looked at the other ones. Oh my goodness. Okay, backed up by that one. So if that isn't the biggest yes, and truth and integrity is going to win this in the big picture, nothing is. So nothing else to say about that.
Okay. And the second part of that question is, Janine, are you running for politics?
No. I'll be doing this this funky kind of woo-woo stuff. I like it better.
I have to say, I'm also more interested in working in the woo side of things. I'm more than happy to influence and to embolden and to encourage new young Canadians, fresh blood into our political systems. I'm willing to do that, of course. But thank you, Cliff, for the vote of confidence. That it did put a smile to my face, I have to admit, this morning. And quite a few emails to that effect also.
Son in politics.
What's that, Janine?
My son wants to be in politics.
Interesting. Well, there you go. And hopefully there's a new world where your son can actually make a difference in politics. And this was a big gripe of mine also. We need a place for actual people to work for actual people, as opposed to vowing to bend the knee and to take orders from the queen. Like that, those days are over. Another hit here in the last episode, we asked Janine in the cards here, what could happen here in this new transformation since the chief of police slowly resigned yesterday? Janine, you were talking about a more militarized type of presence. And of course, this was put up this morning. This is Rebel News. These are RCMP officers, but looking more, of course, like military than police. So again, visually speaking, it lends to the cards you were pulling last night. But let me ask you specifically about the RCMP. Do they have the same contingent and perhaps tension that Julie was explaining there within their forces also, where a lot of them simply do not want to enforce this? Because these people are also watching the mainstream news, and they know that a lot of jurisdictions around the world are, one, dropping the mandates, but two, dropping them in 15 days from now, 10 days from now. Like we have all these dates in Ontario, the 1st of March, I think the 14th of March in Quebec. Do they really want to enforce stuff that they know in a couple of weeks will be a moot point at any rate? Do they want that on their soul?
A whole bunch of them are I'd say they got about 50% that feel dissatisfied with the way everybody, like the Canadian government's handling things. So you might see some of them stepping away. And I know a lot of people, and then we've got the death card, which is slowly but surely. So I think the RCMP has slowly but surely changed a lot over the last couple of years with this whole pandemic-y thing. And I think it's changed maybe a lot. Like a lot of people say to me or write to me and say, well, they're really corrupt. Well, I think maybe they're waking up, some of them. So I wouldn't doubt that you'd have the same problem with them as we were seeing with the police forces, where you're going to have a whole lot of them not wanting to go against the people like that.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's what I'm hearing too, but it's just like it's very odd to me because again, sorry, I'll go back to the PayPal tip jar here in a second. But we had reports here also from the higher echelons of power, and they were like all confused as to why none of these orders were being executed on the ground, and they couldn't explain it. Well, Janine just explained it. People where the rubber meets the road don't want to do it, and so they're siding with Canadians at least in a large enough numbers to prevent the powers that be from doing what they're trying to do here. So I think this spells the end, or at least at the very least the beginning of the end here for these guys. In every minute and every hour that this emergency act is in place and nothing happens really spells disaster for them and for their power structure. So again, stay tuned with us here in the next couple of days as we continue to report all of this stuff. Ronald, thanks for the job you're doing, the trucker protest. Ronald, that's an amazing tip. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's absolutely wow. Thank you so much. Precision Vinyl Loves, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I had a crazy dream. Okay, I'll get back to this question. Kelly, okay. Will the unwilling of Canadians be able to fly without exemptions soon? I'll say soon. Thank you from Kelly Laforêt. Let's start with that question, and then I'll get back to Laura Bastoni for the second one. Thank you so much, everyone. We heard reports the other day that the feds were changing whether it was the PCR test or the rapid test to get on the flight, but it seemed to be nebulous and nobody really understood what was going on yesterday. So are we soon going to see here the ability of the unwilling, the uninjected to fly?
Yes.
Big yes.
Within 3. That looks like weeks to me, but could be days, but could be weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, so soon. Really soon.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe even tomorrow, because on the 17th we got this Jupiter sextile Uranus. Jupiter is the planet of international travel. Uranus is also linked to moving abroad, so it could be good for that kind of announcement. I'm waiting for it.
Great.
I'm getting a report now that there's a big contingency building up on Parliament Hill right now and waiting for updates. So hopefully I'll get another update before we end the show, but this just in now 2 seconds ago on my screen. Okay, so hopefully I can get a little bit more on that. This is from people who are connected with the forces. I'll just say it that way for now. And again, I want to remind the audience that I will be having one, perhaps two police officers on the screen here in the next couple of days talking about why they are in fact siding with the population and not with the government. So that will be fascinating. Hopefully I can set that up maybe for Saturday afternoon. I'll see you guys. So just stay tuned to the web for that. Okay, next question was from Laura. Laura, I had a crazy dream and the sky was really blue. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen for you guys. The sky was really blue, but then there was a blood red section. It scared me, woke me up. So I'm wondering what that might mean. So what did that mean for Laura Bestoni, Janine? Blue skies and then suddenly a blood red section. I'm also going to log into the Discord chat, guys. I haven't forgotten about you.
So it's so clear. It just popped right in my head. So we will get our freedom, but it'll cost. It's like Cliff's been saying something like this. It's all over but the crying. I mean, I use that term. It's like it'll be over and we'll get rid of the globalist agenda. Yeah, we've been fighting tooth and nail to do that. And Trudeau's like one of the last stands to it, it looks like. They all say, they all go, okay, but we're going to lose people and, it's going to cost. And we'll see it later. And that's because of those shots in your arm.
Okay.
So not all of them, because I always get booby trap batches, but some of those are lethal and maybe even take effect over a period of time. So
yeah.
So the blood red is that part, but the blue, you get to the blue skies. It'll war costs. It's going to cost us.
Yeah. And I think Cliff's famous quote was, this is the first time in history where we are going to be victorious in a war, but only after being victorious in the war will we feel the adverse effect of said war or the repercussions of that war. Meaning, as you just said, some people have already been maimed and damaged, maybe yet unbeknownst to them. So heart goes out to all the audience members who are in that situation. Sky Girl is asking in the Discord chat, did General Flynn get arrested? Let's take a beat on that one, Janine.
Okay, not yet, but it's in the works. So a yes, but not yet. So will be, but not yet. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting more reports on the Hill there, so I'm just going to ask one more question or two here so I can get the rest of that report into you and read that if I can read that out loud to you guys. So give me a few seconds on that. Okay. Let me read another question first. I'll put my head around what I'm reading and see if I can broadcast that with you guys here. Okay, Sky Girl again. Is something happening with the Queen this week? So we know that something happened with the Queen already a long time ago, but will something be announced this week? Let's ask the question that way, Janine. And also, Julie, if you want to chime in with some of the astrological alignments, if there's anything that could suggest that also.
Interesting. It feels like they're really considering and every day looking at. It's like they're all ready to go with her leaving the scene. But for some reason, they're waiting for these. It's like certain things have to happen first. So I don't know about this weekend. I'm thinking maybe 8 days, maybe 8 weeks. I think they'll leave it a little longer because that's the outcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody's on the screen. Red Ace. How many are watching? Well, together, 8,000 right now. But yesterday we did beat our record. We were at 10,500 in the live chat. So thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate that. There might be a lot of live streamers at the same time as us. There's a lot of competition for the news, of course, as these days unfold. So yeah, 4,000 on my channel, and there are 4,000 on Janine's channel. That's about the breakdown here. Okay, so let me see if I can read any of this here, guys. I'll go back to this comment. So what we're seeing is RCMP, ERT, so SWAT, emergency response teams, tactical troops, and their quick response units, as well as OPS, so Ottawa Police Services, and CDPDs. This is the contingent that is apparently assembling now on the Hill. Apparently, the media have been asked to come and film this. Again, maybe as a photo op like they did last week at the Coventry. I asked what was the objective, and the answer was fucking unclear. So I'll tell you that for now. So let's ask the cards. What's the objective with this contingent of troops amassing today, and the fact that perhaps, in fact, if these reports are true, that the media are being asked to film that? Is it another scare tactic, or is this the beginning of some physical altercations? Janine?
So it's a creative way to put the word out. So this, I feel like they're creating a photo op. Okay, and then this is the outcome of it. So it feels like it goes way better than it looks. It looks a lot scarier. Here's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
That card's like it's a wake-up call. They're trying to scare them. They're trying to rattle them out of there. They're trying to rattle them out of there. And the problem is legal. There's some legal holdup with them going through with everything that could be the plan in the background. Legally, I think they might have some hands tied. I don't know how that is, but I get they're legally not, like going forward with whatever it is, because this is a breakthrough card. So it looks really tense for a while. They might get some great photos of a few takedowns or something, but it's mostly smoke and mirrors, because that card's breakthrough. It could even work to the advantage of the people.
Okay, I have a follow-up on that. Wendy on the screen, come on, JC, just say it. Wendy, you have to understand, and everybody else watching the show, Janine and I are very deliberate and careful when we bring this information to you, and we do have to exercise high levels of due consideration with all the information that comes across, especially in a live format. And this is for the highest good of everyone, including both Janine, Julie, and myself, but also for you guys here and for the channels. So when as much as I appreciate everybody wants to know what's going on, sometimes it's just not prudent to say some of those words. And I hope you guys can respect that. Now, as a follow-up to what you were saying, this follow-up, and it just occurred to me also that this big tactical troop movement, blah, 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 filming all of this too, might be also done, one, to scare the truckers into leaving, which so far they've all said this today, they're not leaving come hell or high water. But is it also possible that they want to run this footage now 24/7 to scare the Canadians who might support them this weekend? Because for 3 weekends in a row now, we're seeing millions of Canadians on Parliament Hill in -20, -30 temperatures. This weekend is going to be a lot warmer. It's going to be +7 here tomorrow. So if there's 2 million people when it's -30, how many millions would come on Saturday if they weren't affected by scare tactics? Boom.
That's the whole thing. You're definitely right. They got all these undercurrent reasons why, because they feel overwhelmed by those people. All that joy just overwhelms them. But here's what's interesting. They're coming anyway. They might even come because they're just curious. Well, what are these guys going to do? People just are fed up with being told that they can't do stuff. Emergency act or no emergency act, because everybody knows it's bogus, even if it might hurt some people. Like those truckers said, they're getting their bank accounts frozen and stuff. But it's like, what? It's no worse than what's already been happening for the last 2 years. We're literally looking at being enslaved race and taken out. Okay, so what's scarier than that? We'll just sit here till we face these demonics.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me try to take one last question. Nearby. Okay. This is a lighter question. I'll ask it, of course. I am a animal and a dog lover myself. Carrie is asking, my dog Stitch took off 11 months ago. We have 25 sightings and believe he is nearby. Will he return home? I hope so, Carrie. And Carrie, thank you for that tip. Really appreciate that.
Stitch return.
And again, guys, a big thank you to all of you in the PayPal tip jar. And one of you lucky winners tonight will avail themselves of this amazing pyramid here from ascensionorganites.com. Janine. Dog. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I'm thinking no.
Okay.
I'm thinking no. And I'm thinking some of the sightings may have been mistaken with that that card and Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like it's a different situation than what they're thinking, which would be they're hoping that he returns, I'm assuming, because the outcome's kind of sad. So they might have lost him. And I almost feel like somebody took him because 3 of Swords is something's coming between, you know, them and their dog, right? So there's a sword between 2 swords. And it hurt those other 2. That one sword comes between. Somebody might have taken the dog, actually. That card there. It feels like somebody took the dog for their children or, because the dog was really cute and young and they wanted it for themselves. Another way I could read that.
No.
I wonder what the dog looks like. Is it a real precious type? Everybody's dogs are precious, but maybe this one in particular is visually really precious. I don't know. But this card here could be referring to how cute it was. So somebody just had to have it, which is disgusting, but yeah, happens.
Okay, unfortunate to hear that. I hope that resolves. Kim Avery in the live chat here on YouTube is asking, will the unwilling be able to intermingle with the willing here in Canada? You guys know what I mean. And I want to bring that up also because, again, if you haven't seen this interview from today, Decoding the 144,000 with Julie and Indigo, we talked about this Cygnus, what was it called again? Can't translate
Swan, is it the Swan grid?
No, the Cygnus explosion, the supernova. Okay, so the supernova that could create 3 days of light here. And she was mentioning Indigo in that show that light for 3 days could evaporate a lot of those overlays, those matrices, those old programs, and perhaps even some of the junk that was inserted in people. So I'm curious what the cards could say on that. And folks, if you want to hear more about that episode, please do go check it out. It's here on our YouTube channel. Fabulous interview today.
So how did you pose the question?
So will the unwilling be able to mingle with the willing safely around the world?
So we've got the Magician and the Wheel of Fortune. So things are different than they're being talked about on both sides. So a lot of the fear mongering's coming on both sides of this. I think a lot of the things they're saying about how dangerous it is to mingle with the people that have got the cure, you know what I mean? They're like, it's going on both sides. It's been exaggerated and even some false stuff flying around. So there's a whole lot of movie stuff going on here with that card here. And it's designed to wake people up to how they're tearing us apart. It's designed to do that. Okay. So yes, this is the outcome. Yes, they will. We will be safe to mingle with in the future. And maybe it is because of things like that.
Wow.
You mentioned about the supernova. I mean, I always... There's something they know about or something that really turns things around. Yes, we're going to lose some people. Lots of people already have. Yes, there's going to be issues, but a whole lot of stuff gets stepped back too. I always get that.
So there's the supernova or the sneeze from the sun. Like there's a lot of stuff in prophecy. And also the fact that you had pulled quite a few times in the last year, Janine, the idea that there were perhaps good white hats already working on some products that could alleviate some of the damages, which we're not yet hearing about in the mainstream news. So that could also be in the foreground for you guys there. But there are, please guys, don't wait. If you've taken the product unwillingly and you're now realizing that perhaps that was a mistake, there are protocols that you could read out there to help alleviate some of those damages. So just do your research online. And if you go to Clefai's Twitter, also pinned at the top of the comment is one of those protocols. Not a cure, but again, do your own research and figure out what is best for you and for your body. Marcel on the screen is saying, JC, please contact me. Do you know how hard it is to take one comment out of 8,000 in the live chat? How was it funny that I found that comment? And Marcel, okay, so he's the winner. I announced his name last week for the Canadian RCM 100-ounce silver bar. And I saw earlier today, Marcel, that the folks at Miles Franklin were sending that out to you. So I will send you another email, but I know for a fact that they have your address and they're sending that out to you either today or maybe even as of yesterday. But Marcel, I will send you an email after that. Julie, anything else you want to share with the audience here? We're already an hour, 10 minutes in here in terms of the astrology, either for the rest of this month or maybe moving into this summer that could raise the frequency here before we end the show. And also let us know about the bookings with Sophie, how that's going on the website and your personalized bird charts as well.
Well, yeah, I think I spoke already about this alignment, but I'm just going to repeat it because it's so great. On April 12, we're going to have Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in the sign of Pisces. So we were talking earlier about indigo and these 3 days of light that are going to like change the frequency here on Earth. So I really think this is going to be one of the key elements of the astrological alignments. So Neptune talks about higher densities, higher frequencies, our connection to the divine. Jupiter is the planet of faith. It's also the great benefactor in astrology. So this is really a great conjunction. And we're going to feel it not only on that day, but the weeks before, the months before, and also the months after. So it's going to start a 13-year cycle. And I think it's going to be really like a game changer on an energetic level. Also, we can expect some disclosures about ETs. It's going to be easier to find and contact our star families, more truth coming out in the world, but also easier access to higher frequencies, I think. So on the energetic level, I feel that this is going to be very important. And I think Indigo too, she was saying the same thing.
Yeah, very positive indeed. Okay, and quick update for the audience on the bookings. What's Sophie's schedule like right now? And also, where are you at with the productions of the personalized bird charts for the audience members?
So I think everything is booked for the month of March, but there's spots starting from April with Sophie. So this is for tarot consultations with Sophie. And also for the bird charts, it's about between a week and 2 weeks of production delay because I do them all by hand. And right now I'm about a week delay. So.
About a week delay. That's pretty good. Okay. And of course, guys, if you're looking at any of these products, BeyondMystic is the coupon code. We'll give you 10% off. And a week delay is pretty good. I wanted to let you guys know, too, that I am about 3 days behind now in my email. So I'm getting closer to being up to date. So please do bear with me. Unusual amounts of email going through my website in the last couple of weeks.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to thank you guys, Janine and JC, because I think you're doing both an amazing job at bringing information. And I know it's like on an energy level, it's hard to be there every day and to communicate to such large audiences. So I know, like I see now, and I know it because I'm with you. So I know like how much you're putting energy into this, and I want to thank you on behalf of everybody. Awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, you made me lost my train of thought. Okay. Janine, any last words of wisdom? Do you want to pull some cards for the audience here just to maybe read up? On the next couple of days, you and I are probably going to do some more emergency broadcasts here on the weekend. Folks, tomorrow night, Julie and I, right now, we have a French episode of Odyssée Galactique. We might change the title of that to do some more reporting here on the situation in Ottawa, but for our French audience. So a lot of our French audience are also wanting to know what's happening here. So we might change that poster tomorrow night, but do stay tuned for that. And of course, this weekend, we might be doing some other live reporting from Parliament Hill. So Janine, back to you. What do the cards have to say here for the next couple of days?
I think we need to send the truckers some positive love energy, because I think some of them are getting kind of down. I mean, they've been there for weeks now, and some of them were being interviewed today. And even though they were standing their ground, they did say, a couple of them, in one guy went around interviewing these guys. He would go right in their trucks and they'd let them sit there and chat. And they were saying, well, we haven't had a really good night's sleep for 2 weeks, some of us in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And there were some of them away from their family. And that really offended me when Trudeau said the words, and that woman repeated them in Parliament about how, oh, these guys are like women haters. And how on earth does he know that? And there were some of the people they're interviewing are some of the most intelligent and kind people I've heard in a really long time, with common sense and brave. And obviously they brought their whole family, so they can't be women haters. You know what I mean? Like, where did they get that? What, truckers are women haters? Like, it's unbelievable what he's saying. And it makes total sense that he'd be a guy caught in blackface, several times in his history. The guy's a complete buffoon. Okay. He's socially inept. Honestly, it's embarrassing. So, but that really
tell us what you really mean, Janine.
What I mean. So they're a little bit blue. I mean, they're getting like hammered with all of this fear mongering, and they're being really cool and holding the line, but they're kind of sad and a little bit down. And remember that gut punch we had I bet they had that gut punch too, when they heard that he was going this way. Right. And that now they got that on their heads, but they were being so brave on camera. So we need to send them lots of love and ravens. I'm sending them ravens. Full moon tonight. So your energy sends really quickly on a full moon. So just visualize right from your heart chakra, a whole bunch of love energy to those guys and or families. There's women truckers too, I'm sure. And their entire families are with them. Just send them all kinds of love energy. And if you see any of them in person when you're on the hill, if you got some cash, maybe stuff it in their pockets. Do you know what I mean? Because it looks like they might need some help that way, right? Because they're getting their bank accounts frozen and stuff. So they're going to win this. They're going to win this, but it's going to be hard work, and it's at great personal cost to these people. Yet they're going to be our heroes in this, and across the world, they're heroes. They've woken up the world in love and truth and integrity. So
yeah, absolutely. So 2 comments there. Patriot Revenge. Is Julie JC's wife? How did you call yourself, Janine? You're my work wife?
I'm definitely a work wife, but I think you got Julie's a work wife. I think you got a few work wives.
I got a lot of work wives. Yes, I know. So much divine feminine energy here on the show. I absolutely love it. You guys are absolutely amazing. So thanks for that, Patriot Revenge. Somebody was also asking, hey, JC, is that thingy from Cliff to Sleep back in stock? No, not yet, but we're expecting it any day now. I thought it was at the end of the month, or perhaps it's the end of this month. So please just go check out beyondmystic.net/shop, and I will be putting a notice there once the product is back in stock. I did, however, receive the version 2.0 of this concoction, and I really like the taste. Actually better than the first one, and it dissolves even better than the first one. So guys, check out for that when it is available. Anyways, I'll let you know. I'll do a little quick promo. But yeah, absolutely amazing product. And maybe we can send those to the truckers also, so they can have a better night's sleep here in these absolutely troubling times. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight. Again, please remember to go and like, share, and subscribe here at Maison Jupiter, where Julie is producing all of her content, both in French and English. And you can also subscribe here to Tarot by Janine on YouTube and Sending Ravens. This was the Siege of Ottawa Freedom Convoy special update with my friends, my work wives. And I'm Jean-Claude of BeyondMystic. I absolutely love you too. Thank you so much. I absolutely love each and every one of you in the live chat. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.